how did you feel the debate went today?
I thought it was very interesting, and it just sort of reaffirmed the fact that there is a massive discrepancy here between the, should we put it, the environmentalists on the one hand and the users and the producers on the other hand. And to me it highlights the fact that we haven't got some sort of independent figures, which really would be extremely useful. Questions are being asked about the PSD figures. We heard Hiltrud Breyer going on at length questioning the extent to which the substitutions have been included. And as a result, it does make sense that for legislation as important as this, that there is a proper impact assessment so that we know beforehand what it's going to mean. And for me as a journalist, it's very, very difficult going round and listening to the different opinions. And as I say, there's just such a gulf between them. And it's very difficult for us to try and find, where the truth lies. In particular, on a subject such as this, where we, as journalists, are reliant on experts, on scientists, on farmers, to tell us what the impact is going to be in practice. I just feel that the figures are just so far, apart, that there needs to be some sort of clarification and the doubts that are being raised. I mean, there is no question that if we, on various lobbying issues that we've seen over the years, yes, the vested interests always give us the doomsday scenario and do perhaps exaggerate. And we've seen this on a number of occasions, but within the context of high food prices, within the context of the need to double world food production by 2050 in order to feed the world, it does seem rather extreme to be affecting our productivity to this extent and basically moving in the other direction when we need to be increasing productivity. In world food production terms, it's obvious that Europe is actually ahead of the rest of the world and we are relatively efficient. But the trouble is, if we reduce our productivity, it means we become more reliant on imports, which means that someone somewhere is not going to have that food which is now coming to Europe, because Europeans will never starve. We are always, well, hopefully, because we will always be better off. But the trouble is, in terms of the big picture, and that is world food production, we need desperately to increase productivity, to be more efficient, and not to turn our back on the biological and scientific developments that we've had over the past 20-30 years. One or two of the things that Hiltrud Breyer has said I find reassuring in that she's saying, for example, with the derogation, she's making very clear that there should be options out there, or that there should be safeguards out there. But at the same stage, I mean, from what I've heard today, again, we still don't have this clear assessment of what the impact of the legislation will be.
Why not? And who should do that assessment?
Well,
who do you believe, sorry?
In an ideal world, the Commission would have done it, but of course the Commission came up with its impact assessment with the proposals, but of course that was looking more at the public health impact. And I'm a little bit surprised that DG Agri isn't taking a more active role on this. I mean, the word from DG Agri is very much that this is DG Sanko's dossier, nothing to do with us. I was very pleased to see that there were maybe 4 people from DG Agri here, and not actually that many from DG Sanko. So maybe there's a growing interest from Agri, because it's one of the big elements, in the whole equation. There's no point in taking a tough stance for these reasons if it's going to have a massive negative impact for these different reasons which haven't been taken into account. And as I say, that's where I think DG Agri needs to sort of put its hand up and say, hang on a moment, DG Agri has done it with asynchronous approvals of GMOs. They've said, okay, that's your opinion, this is what we feel, and signalled that there's a potential problem out there. And as I say, I would like to think that DG Agri, if they're here today, will maybe look at the potential impact and realise that maybe they have to start blowing a few whistles and ringing a few alarm bells just in case.